I'm Howie Scarborough. I'm the CEO of Fall Protection Distributors. And today we've released a blog about Drexel Metal standing seam panels that they produce. And we're talking about fall protection equipment that's safe to use on their roof systems that will also protect the workers. So if you jump into this blog and you start scrolling down, if you're working on a Drexel roof and you're not sure which panel it is, you can go through the different sections here. You'll see pictures of the different panels. You should be able to identify which seam that you're working on. And all the way down here at the bottom of the article, there's a quick reference guide here. So you'll see all the different panels across the top, and then you'll see some products down the left column. We're going to talk about these products. So first thing you notice is there's a couple of panels that are right off the bat are not compatible. These are going to be batten strip panels. These have covers over the seams. We don't want to attach any seam mounted equipment to those, because if those rivets that hold those on were to break loose, that would slide down the seam along with your fall protection equipment. So we want to avoid ever attaching seam mounted equipment to a batten strip. So starting with the SSRA1, now we're talking about seam mounted equipment, steel panels, and non-curved panels. That's what's important to know about seam mounted anchors. Non-curved panels and primarily steel. We're talking about 22 and 24 gauge steel. If you have lighter gauges or aluminum or zinc or copper panels, there's an alternative product we're going to talk about at the bottom of the chart. But for right now, the SSRA1 is for the 22 and 24 gauge steel, non-curved. So the SSRA1 is a single worker tie off. It mounts to the seam with 12 non-penetrating set screws. And this is going to torque on with 90 inch-pounds of pressure. It's not a lot of pressure. It's not going to damage the seam. This provides a single worker tie off, and it also has a removable D-ring on top for adding adapter plates. If you want to expand the functionality, that's no problem. So we have another screw that's primarily for 24 gauge steel, and that's going to torque to 180 to 200 inch-pounds. And that's going to be your SSRA1 nylon tip. So everything's the same. It's just a different set screw that goes in there, and it has a nylon bushing in the end. So it's a softer bite on the seam. We use a little bit more torque to make it grip onto the seam, but this is going to give you the same single worker tie off. It's going to protect the panels, and it does have a removable D-ring for adding adapter plates. Now, once you've identified your panel and you know you have the anchors in hand and you want to, let's say, put a 10-foot walkboard up there for a worker to have a nice stable surface to work on, you can purchase a pair of SSRA2 roof jacks. You would mount two SSRA1 seam anchors approximately 8 feet apart, remove the D-rings, and then mount the SSRA2 roof jack adapters on top. They're padded on the bottom so it won't scratch up the panel, and they're adjustable for different height seams as well as different pitch roofs. If you want to put a 100-foot horizontal lifeline temporarily on a standing seam roof without penetrations, you can take two SSRA1s, remove the D-rings, and then mount an SSRA3 anchor plate directly on top of those anchors. If you notice the grooves on top of the SSRA3 plate, that allows this to adjust from 12 to 24 inch wide standing seam panels. So it's very universal fit. So you would have one of these assemblies at each end of your rope. So you would need to put a 100-foot rope up there, you would need the rope, you would need two of the SSRA3 plates, and you would need four SSRA1 seam anchors. We do have a kit that does all of that. That's the SSRA HLL kit. Now, if you need a permanent lifeline, we do offer a industry exclusive Super Anchor 120-foot galvanized steel cable permanent horizontal lifeline. This is designed for standing seam roofs, non-penetrating clamps, 5-inch riser posts. Very good alternative for buildings that require a lot of maintenance and a lot of inspections. It's sometimes more feasible just to put a permanent system up there and leave it than it is to put temporary systems up and down all the time. Now, if you're working on a roof that is something other than 22 or 24 gauge steel, it's one of these lighter substrates, 26 gauge, 29 gauge, then we recommend something along the lines of the Ridge Pro. So the Ridge Pro is for 612 to 1212 pitch roofs. It's kind of like a ladder hook without the ladder. It's much easier to move around and maneuver. So it simply mounts on the end of a 16-foot extension pole. You climb the ladder, you use the pole to run this up the roof, you flip it over the peak, and you've now secured a vertical lifeline over the peak of the roof. So once you step from the ladder to the roof, you're already 100% tied off. You can do your repair, do your inspection, do your install, get back to the ladder safely. You were tied off the entire time. And then once you're back to the ladder, you can release that rope and get safely to the ground. So the Ridge Pro is that's something very versatile product you can use as well. And it doesn't have to be a metal roof either. So if you have any questions about any of these products or any of these panels, please give us a call. Our phone number is up here at the top of the site. You can email us at support@fallpd.com. And this little blue circle in the bottom right corner of our webpage, that is our live chat. Just let us know how we can help you.